Hey, hopefully you guys, when you came in, if you had children, they told you all about our kids ministry. And so it's our birth all the way through fifth grade. And so we've got a nursery and we've got a pre-K room. And then we've got two classes for the kids, kindergarten through fifth grade. If you want to participate in that, that's wonderful. If not, we completely understand. We do love children. We think they're a part of the church. If you want to know more about that, there's out there in the foyer, there's a little hallway. There'll be a lady out there that can fill you in on any information. Also want to tell you, if you're a morning person on Sundays and you like 8 a.m., we have a spectacular 8 a.m. service. I mean, it's amazing. There's confetti cannons. It was awesome. Really good time. But as you can see, this place is full, which is awesome. We're far from complaining. But if you do want to check out 8 a.m. service, we would love to have you. Next service at the 11 o'clock hour, it looks about like this. There's a couple more little gaps, but not much. Last week we had in attendance 504 people, which is an amazing thing. We believe partly in response to what happened with Charlie Kirk and him being martyred. We believe that because of that, like, people are searching for an answer. That we live in a dark world, and that there's things that go on that seem to shatter our reality. And we believe this. We believe Jesus Christ is the answer. We believe that God gave us 66 books that from Genesis all the way to Revelation declare that Jesus is the answer. And I get the pleasure and the blessing of on Sunday preaching 3 times, just telling the gospel, telling about what Jesus did for you. The truth is this: I'm never tired until like the end of it. And then at the end of it, I'm just like, oh. Like, I need just like a Red Bull and a coffee, and I just want them to make the coffee with the Red Bull, and we'll just let the cards land where they land. But we've been so blown away by what God's doing, not just here. Like, I talk to other pastors, and I want to tell you, like, God's doing an amazing work, not just here at Life Point, but God's moving in a lot of areas. The generation, I think it's Gen X, or Gen Z. Like, Gen Z is one of the largest attenders of church, because the young people are seeing, like, man, this is a mess. And if this is a mess, man, we need the answer. And the prayer is that pastors stand up proudly and proclaim Jesus Christ is the answer. So right now, we're praying. We'd invite you to start praying. We don't know what God's doing at Life Point. We just know this, that we're going to look back and we're going to be like that family that raised 17 kids in a 300-square-foot house. We're like, how'd we do it? Like, how did we fit 500 people in here in 3 services? It's 5,000-square-foot building. Like, we don't know. But we're praying that God provides the next place for us. And so right now, like, we just want to invite you to step into prayer with us. Like, we think that's the most powerful thing, honestly, that we can do. We've got a potential place that we're discussing, and what I'm praying is that God, you would give us that place. And like, that sounds crazy to think about. I think of the verse that God's able to do abundantly more than what you could ever even imagine. Like, I've seen God deliver time and time again, spiritually, physically, through money, through people. When this started, like, it started in the Recplex across the way. There was like 7 people. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, they would sit in second service. We've always done 2 services. They would come to the 9 o'clock or the 9:30, and then at the 11, like, people would just kind of stand around and they'd peek outside. And if you pulled up, like, they'd run to their spots and, like, just get ready. Like, we got somebody. And, like, that was exciting. And now look at it. We had 70-some people in 8 a.m. Right now in this room, there's over probably 200 people. At least 190 people. There's 196 seats, not what we bring in. So you can look around. It's easier to count empty seats than it is to count full seats at this point. Next service is going to look just like it. Like, God's doing something amazing, and so we're just inviting you to be a part of the prayer of God. What is next? And we believe He's going to provide. And so what we see in world, and what we're talking about right now, is that you and I can belong because of a guy named Jesus. And I was thinking about belonging. Like, sometimes we do things, but we don't ever feel like we belong. This is going to surprise some of you guys, but like, from 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I played football. And I mean, in my own, this is just my own evaluation, I was probably like a D1 recruit at that point. I was all of 4'7" on a good day, and I was probably 3 foot wide. I would have been a great center for any D1 college that wanted me. My 7th grade year, because my coach didn't see the true talent that he had on the team, he didn't play me a lot. And so I decided with me and my buddy that we were going to go talk to the coach. And we went and we got him in his office. He was our science teacher. You teachers understand you teach and you coach. And so we go to our science teacher and we say, hey, you may not know this, but one day we're going to go down in the history books as some of the best football players the world's ever seen. And you right now, at this time, this moment right now, you have a chance to continue to not play us and look back and regret it, or you can win championships off of us. But if you don't play us, we're hanging these pads up. He says, well, boys, I hate to see you go, but you do what you got to do. Like, I had 3 positions I played. I played end, I played guard, and I played tackle. And some of you football guys know what I mean. I played the end of the bench, I guarded the water bottles, and I tackled anyone who came near. Like, I was not good. Like, I was slow, and I never memorized one play. So if I was supposed to block right, I went left. Like, I was just backwards every time. But I wore the same jersey they wore. Like, I sat on the same bench. I rode the same bus. I had the same playing schedule, the same plays, the same coach. And if you were looking from the outside in, you would say, that kid belongs on the team. But from 5th grade on, like, I never really felt like I belonged. Like, I never really felt like I made it on the team. Like, it was just really you sign it, your parents sign you up, and as long as you practice, like, you were there. But I never really belonged. And some of you guys know that feeling. Like, you've been invited to a wedding or a birthday party. For some of you guys, you're like, yeah, it's called my family reunion. Like, I just don't belong. And you show up to these things and you just feel like the outsider. The truth is this, like, that can be church. Like, we try, we call it culture and DNA of our church. Like, we want to be a loving, welcome church. We got 1 bad Google review so far since we've been here. That's a kind of a plug. Like, you should review us on Google if you like us. If you don't like us, like, we're just review a different church and act like it's us, and we'll be fine. Life Point of Sedalia. No, we love those guys. But seriously, like, we got 1 bad review because they said we were cold, we weren't welcoming. It was Easter, and like, someone made it through the door and just didn't feel welcome. Our prayer is you guys feel welcomed. That when you come in, you get a smile face. Like, you get told, like, hey, we're glad you're here. We try to memorize names. For most guys, I think your name's Scott or Travis for, like, the first 6 to 12 months. And after that, I try to, like, get to know you. Like, but truthfully, like, we want you to feel like you belong. But the truth is, you can feel like we can do all that we can do. Like, we can shake your hands. We can know your name. We can know your story. And you could show up here and not feel like you belong. You can be in church your whole life and not truly belong. You can grow up, attend every single Sunday, but never feel welcome at home at church. Which means this: you can be in God's house. You can be in church and be far from the Father. You can miss it all sitting right in these seats. And so last week we talked about the prodigal son, the son that runs off, squanders everything that he has. This week, we're going to look that the story's not over there. And so it starts in Luke chapter 15, starting in verse 25. It says, now, his older son, talking about the dad's older son was in the field. As he came near to the house, he heard music and dancing, so he summoned one of the servants, questioning what these things meant. Your brother is here, he told him, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Then he, the older brother, became angry and didn't want to go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him, but he replied to his father, look, I have been slaving many years for you, and I have never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me a goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him? Okay, so catch what's going on. This older brother is out working. And, like, it's hard work. Like, it's not hydraulic labor. Like, he's not in the air conditioning, like, pushing buttons. Like, he's not behind a computer. Like, he's out doing, like, farmhand things. Shepherding, making sure that they're protected. And he doesn't have a phone, okay? Like, you got to think context. Like, he's not out there scrolling reels and just having a good old time under the shade tree. Like, he's not texting his girl, like, hey, boo, what are you doing today? Like, he's out there, like, not in communication with anybody, serving his father, taking care of his father's stuff, making sure that everything his father has is safe. He probably stinks. He's showing up from working all day in the sun. He's most likely dirty. Like, he's not going to show up and just look like he's not been in the field. So he stinks. stinks. He's dirty. Anybody that's ever done physical labor, like he's probably sore and tired. He's probably hungry. I bet he didn't take an Uncrustable. I bet he didn't have a nice lunch with him. Like I bet he's just out there working all by himself, maybe with another servant. And he comes in from this long day of work. And what happens? As he gets from afar, he starts to hear these instruments. So I said, man, that's weird. I mean, if it's anything like me, it's like, is that my guitar? Like someone's got my guitar out? And he's listening, and then he starts getting a little closer, and guess what happens? Starts to smell. I mean, like, I'm talking like, you know, when someone's barbecuing next door, and they're supposed to be your good neighbor, and you thought that they loved you, and you realize they don't because they're barbecuing without you? That's what's going on. He's smelling, and he's hearing, and so he sees one of these servants, and he says, come over here. What's going on? He's like, bud, you didn't hear? Your brother's back. Man, your dad is ecstatic. Like he was so ecstatic. He said, get the fattened calf. Like not the lame one with the broken leg that we were going to kill anyways. He said, get the fattened calf, the one y'all been feeding for the feast. Get that one because my son's home. What? Dad did what? Yeah. Your brother, he was gone. He's here. It's a party. Like you didn't know about this. This gets the brother upset. Like, can you imagine? You've been working all day. Just in the heat for your dad. Your brother has went out and he squandered everything that his father gave him, which means that was half of everything the father had. So when the brother shows up, you know whose fattened calf that was? Well, it surely wasn't the brother that ran off. No, it would have been part of the sons, the inheritance that's left over. And he's like, hold on. I had plans for that. I was going to do a roast with the boys. He says he did what? And so he's just mad. And you think about that. If you could envision what's going on, the son stands out there and he says, I'm not going in there because my brother's in there. I like to think in my life that I've never had that attitude. But if I'm honest with you, there's been times I don't want church if so-and-so's there. If that group or that person or this person does that, I don't want church. Like if they're welcome, I don't want to be welcome. I lived in a small town, and in my town, CaseNet wasn't a thing, so we had to wait for the newspaper to hit every week. And when the newspaper hit, well, first thing you do is you read the front just to make sure you didn't make it on there. But the second thing you did was you flipped over to like the personal stuff to figure out who went to court. Like, who wasn't wearing their seatbelt? And they just printed it all in there. Like it was CaseNet in black and white for us back in the day. And so you'd read, and you know what you would read? You'd read people who broke the law. You'd read people who've done things. And it's very easy to start to think, man, they don't belong here. I shared with you guys last week about when I stopped getting in trouble. And I went to church, and they didn't want me there. Like, and so I know not only how it feels, but I also know that in my heart, like there's times I'm like, if that person's here, I don't want to be here. That's the brother's attitude. If my younger brother is welcome back in the father's house after squandering everything and living such a wild life, I am not going inside. I don't want to have fellowship with him. So his anger's boiling over, and he says, look, all these years I've been slaving. I've been slaving for you. I've never disobeyed your order. Yet you've never gave me a goat so I could celebrate with my friends. I mean, he's mad. If he views what he's been doing, Dad, I've been working so hard for you. And did you not give me a fattened calf? Like, you ain't even gave me a little goat. Like, you ain't even said, hey, boys, like, y'all been working hard. Go have a little bonfire. Here's some goat for you to go have. But when he comes back, he broke all your rules. He disobeyed you. He squandered your wealth. I've worked hard. I've stayed faithful. And what's it gotten me? Nothing. What's it gotten him? Everything. He got all of his inheritance, half of what you're worth. And you never threw me a party, but he comes back after wasting it and he gets the party. I'd be upset too if I'm the older brother sitting here. And so the younger brother, he missed out because of his rebellion. Like he was on the outs because he rebelled. He lost out on what the father had in the story because he rebelled. This guy, he misses out because of his resentment. Standing there watching the father's love for somebody that truthfully doesn't deserve it, one who ran from the father's house. And he says, I don't want the father because of this. Here's the danger. Like we all know, like it's easy to run from the Lord. Like we hear those stories. Like those are the stories that make the headlines. They make the case net. Like when someone goes and lives a wild life and they squander everything and they're running from the Lord. Like we read about that. But not only is it possible to run from the Lord, it's possible to stay close, do all the right things, and miss the heart of the Father. You can be in church every single day of your life and miss the Father. This is one of the ways we know is when it feels more like slavery than it does brings us joy. When we say words like, man, I've been slaving for you. Not, Dad, I've been serving you because I love you. And I like to think that this doesn't creep into my life. Like where I say things like, God, why'd you do this for them? Or why'd this happen to me? And one of the things as I've thought through this week is there's been twice in my life that this kind of attitude's really creeped in where I've said, well, God, why this? Like I've done this. And one time was when my wife got diagnosed with cancer. One of the questions I asked myself was, and even my wife, and we talked about, I have done nothing since when you've saved me and brought me back. Like I've went to college. I got my undergrad in the Bible. I turned around, I got my master's degree in the Bible. I went and served in youth ministry, like making no money. Like moved my family from here to there to here to there to serve you. God, why would you give my wife cancer? Like I've been doing all this stuff for you. And this is what it says in my heart. God, I've been serving you so that you would do this for me. Another time was, and that was in the negative, like something bad happened. Something good that had happened was I was serving in youth ministry. A man, I guess we were the same age, he might be a year older. He gets called to ministry. That's an amazing thing. Like that's a moment to celebrate when somebody that's under you in ministry surrenders their life to ministry. And so I was excited for him. I thought it was amazing until I found out he made more than me. I was like, what? Like, I got a master's. This guy's never done anything in ministry, and he's going to make $8,000 more than me starting out? And I'd ask that question, God, I've done all this for you, and this is my return? Like, this is what you've given me? That's the same attitude that we have in the older brother here. Dad, I've been out. I've been slaving for you. I've been doing all this work, but it doesn't seem like you're returning the favor to me. It doesn't seem like the things I've been doing are generating the merit and the favor and the blessings that I think they should give. And what we do, though, is we imagine that whenever we get saved and we get our heart right with God, that he gives us this period to get things right, to work into his favor, to work into his merit, that we can clean ourselves up. But the truth of the gospel is this: grace is not wages. Like we don't earn grace. It's not a loan. Like he's not like, hey, I'm going to give you all this grace, and when I give it to you, you've got like 6 to 12 years to pay me back, or you've got 30 years to pay me back. It's not something we get to work off over time. No, what grace is it's unearned. It's undeserved. The truth is this: it's freely given to you. And so we've got to check our hearts. We've got to make sure that our hearts are in the right place, that we never start to feel like, man, we're trying to earn grace from the Lord. You guys get bills. I get bills. I hate getting bills. You hate getting bills, but we all get bills. You know when you get a bill and it's due on the 1st, but it says if you pay it by this date, like it's still the same price, they call that a grace period. So kids that are listening, that's called a grace period. And for us, we start to think of grace sometimes like that. The bill's due, but they're giving me grace, but the bill's still due. That's not grace when it comes to the Father. The Father doesn't say the bill's due and I'm going to give you grace until you've got 10 or so plus days or years to figure out how to pay it back. No, when the Father gives grace, he says the bill's been wiped clean. I've paid the bill for you. And so grace from the Father, unearned, undeserved, freely given. So that's the older brother standing out there, arms crossed, stomping his feet, upset that the younger brother is being celebrated. The father, though, in verse 31 says, son, he said to him, you're always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So the father goes out and he pleads with him. He says to the older brother, like, you've heard me talk about it. You've heard me talk about when your brother left, how much it hurt my heart. How much you got to remember, like he couldn't check on his son. It's not like his son was posting Instagrams or Facebook or updates online where he's like, oh, he's down there having a wild party, but he's alive. No, the father, when his son leaves, for all he knows, he's dead. He has no idea. That's why I think the picture is the father is sitting on the porch watching, just wondering, like, where is that son of mine who's dead? And so when the father saw the son, he said, man, that son was dead, but now he's alive. And so he's telling the older brother, like, you know how much it grieved me that this child of mine was gone, that he wasn't with me. And so the father starts to plead with him, and he says, but you've been here. Like, and not only have you just been here, but everything I've got is yours. Like, you don't need an inheritance. Like, it's yours. If you wanted a goat for you and your friends, like, you could have it. If it's mine, it's yours. And he sits out there and he pleads with him, and he tries to get him to come inside and to enjoy the fellowship and to have a place that he could belong. But the younger or the older brother sits out there and he misses it. But the good news is this: the father is about the rebellious, the one who runs, but he's also about the religious, the one who's near to him. He says, my son, what I have is always yours. The son, though, he's like, man, I'm working for this stuff. I'm working for it from the father. If I keep slaving for him, he'll give me this. If I keep giving him all these years, like, he's going to give it. But all along, he had access to it. The father says, you don't need to earn it. You can enjoy it. You don't need to prove yourself. He says, everything I have is yours. I was thinking about that just this week. There's always this big contrast in life. Like, I was thinking about my testimony. And I love to share my testimony. I think that it's an amazing story of what God can do when he takes something that's broken and he can make it beautiful. And so any opportunity that I get, like, I'll share my testimony. I shared it this week in a meeting, just telling a guy about what God's done. And really, like, my testimony is one of those, like Drake would say, like, I started from the bottom and now I'm here. But seriously, you think about, like, I think about it. I remember what it was like as a young boy. Like, I didn't go to church. Like, I didn't even understand church. Like, one of those guys that whenever they talk about, like, church things, like, I didn't get church things. I really didn't know you were supposed to give money to the church. Like, God says, like give gracefully because he's given. Like, God loves a cheerful giver. Like, we talk about watching moms and dads cut checks. I never seen that. Like, whenever they started talking about money, I was like, they're trying to rob me. Like, I know what's going on here. Like, you just want my money. You don't care about me. Like, I didn't know, like, talking about when I started to hear about, like, a good father who loves me. Oh, no, I had a dad. And let me tell you, the one thing I didn't think about him was that he loved me. Now, I thought he was abusive. I thought he hated me. I knew he was an addict. Like, I was a kid that whenever I was told dad was in jail, like, I celebrated. Because I knew at those moments, like, we were safe. Like, there was nothing bad that was going to happen. And so whenever church became a thing, and I learned about a father who loved me, and a father who sent his son Jesus to die for me, man, it was like dark to light. Like, it was a drastic. I mean, I went from going in and out of jail to, like, walking with the Father. Like, it was an amazing time. And so I'm telling you, I'll share that story with anybody and anybody who will listen to it. I was sharing it one day in a group, and this lady, and we're just going around, we're talking about our stories, and this lady goes, man, I don't have an interesting story. Like, my testimony is not very interesting. Well, I'm intrigued. Tell me about it. Like, what happened? Kind of find out, no joke, she had an amazing testimony. Like, she was raised in church. She was adopted, raised in church. She had never ran away from the Father. Like, there was never a time in her life that she would say, man, I lived in open rebellion from the Father. She said, I grew up hearing the Bible stories. She's like, I know all of them. Like, I've been teaching Sunday school on this for all these years. And she's like, my kids have been raised in church. Like, you know, the people who are like, I was a drug baby, like, mama drugged me to church. Like, you all have had perfect attendance, like, for 9 months before you were born. Like, before even one hair grew on your head, like, you already knew John 3:16. Your first haircut was by the pastor. Like, it was just this beautiful moment. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you all are, like, just you churched. Like, you've grown up in it. You've known it. Like, that's what she's saying. And I said to her, I said, that's beautiful. I said, honestly, that's the kind of testimony I pray my kids have. That they would have that kind of testimony. And let me tell you, it took as much grace, mercy, and blood of Jesus to save her as it did me. I think it's as much of a miracle that God saved me as it was that he saved her. Because the truth is this, we can sit in church and we can hear all the stories and we can know all the Bible verses and we can miss the Father's heart. But she got it. Like she went from death to life, sitting in it. And that's true for so many people that we hear that they've grown up in church and they get to a place where like, man, I don't really know who the Father is. Like we've mistaken activity with relationship. So some of us, yeah, we have testimonies. We've ran away. Like we know what it's like to live in the pig pen. And it took God's grace and God's mercy and the blood of Jesus to save us from the pig pen. Some of us have been in church longer than I've been alive. Some of you guys probably have memorized more verses than I have, than I am years old. Like you've been in church. It took the same blood. It took the same grace. It took the same mercy to save you as it did to save me. We both needed grace. We both needed miracles. And we both belong because of Jesus Christ. So he rescues the rebel and he redeems the rule keeper. And so the brother's sitting here and he's upset about it. And the father says, no. Like, you've already got everything that I have. Like come inside, belong, come and have relationship. Here's a challenge to you is if you have a story, tell someone about it. I tell you, if you can get coffee with somebody that you love and just tell them, hey, can I tell you about my life? And maybe they know most of the story about your life. Maybe they remember watching you grow up, but you know they don't know Jesus, and you can tell them about how Jesus changed your life. Like, share your story. Like, I think that God's writing a unique story in every single person's life right here in this room. That I have a different story than Aaron has, and Aaron has a different story than Ryan has, and Ryan has a different story than Dave has. Like, God's writing different stories in us so that we could use that story to tell someone Jesus Christ loves you and died for you. And so share your story. But maybe you're sitting here and you're like, I don't have a story. Like, you know you've got a story, but your story doesn't have this kind of but in it. Like, your story is like, yeah, I'm living in the pig pen. I am in a mess. Here's my sin state. Here's the brokenness. Here's what I walk in. And the truth is this, I don't have no hope on tomorrow. I don't have no grace. I don't know the Father that you're talking about. And your story's just there. You're living in the brokenness. Well, I want you to know that you can have a but Jesus moment in your life. And maybe you've been in church, seriously, longer than I've been alive. And you're like, man, I know verses and I know stories, but I don't know the Father's heart. I've been serving, but it feels like slavery. There's no joy to it. I want to tell you that you can have a but Jesus moment. I was at a D now where a kid got saved that was the pastor's kid that had been in church his whole life. And let me tell you, it was a beautiful moment to watch him to go from death to life. And so I don't know where you are. And I try to explain it to people. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, what is it when God tugs on your heart? Like, how to explain that to someone? Because this is what I think. I think so many times we sit in services and we hear the gospel preached and we hear that we can have a but Jesus moment and that Jesus Christ loves us and died for us. And then we're like, what do I do with that? Like, here's all I can say is in your heart, like whenever you feel that and you're like, man, I know that I'm a sinner. Like Travis myself, like I know the sins that I've committed. I wouldn't dare want to write them down for you because you'd never look at me the same. But you know the sins you could write down. And there just seems to be a thing when God's Spirit starts to move, like we're like, man, I feel the weight of that. And then all of a sudden you start to just feel like, man, there's this guy named Jesus that loves me. And how do I get from this sinful state to this thing? And all it is just a step of faith. That you step out and you say, man, I want to trust that Jesus. I don't know the answers. I don't know everything. I can't even explain to you after this many years being saved of even really how to describe that to you. But this is what happens. We feel that. And we're like, man, I need Jesus. But also we're like, no. I'll try this. I'll try to drink this void full. I'll try to have sex until this void's full. I'll try to fill it with lusts and desires of the flesh until this void's full. And you know what happens? It's just still empty. It's still just broken. But Jesus says, I've come to give you life and life more abundantly. And so I don't know your story. Like, I don't know if you sit here today and you're like, man, I'm in the pig pen, or you sit here today and you're like, man, I've been in church for years. But let me tell you, if you're not close to the Father, it doesn't matter what story is yours. You just need to be made right with the Father. And it's only through Jesus. Here's the danger of proximity without relationship. The right place the brother is. You think about that. He is at the right place. He's doing all the right things. He's surrounded by the right people, and he misses it. Which just tells me this: your church attendance will never equal salvation for you. You can have all the awards from as you were a child. You could be here every Sunday, and you could sit in these seats every Sunday, and that will never equal salvation for you. Morality does not equal salvation. There are going to be some really, really good, really, really nice, really, really loving, really, really giving and generous people that spend all of eternity in hell, because morality does not equal salvation. The truth is, knowledge of the Bible doesn't equal salvation. You could stand up here and you could quote all the scriptures. You could know all the memory verses. You could literally have from Genesis to Revelations memorized, and it will never equal salvation for you. Growing up in church doesn't. If your story is, I've just always been saved since I was a little kid, and you don't understand the cost of your sin, and you don't understand what it looks like to step from death into life, and you can't put some of that together, you may be relying on growing up in the house versus knowing the Father. Growing up in the house does not equal salvation. This is why, so it's a parable here. This parable is Jesus is teaching, and he's teaching to the leaders of the day, and he's trying to get them to realize something, that the gospel is for everybody. And so the prodigal son, like that's the Gentiles. That's the down and outs, the people that these religious leaders wanted nothing to do with. And Jesus' message to them is, my gospel, the gospel of Jesus is for them. The prodigal, the half-bred, the one that doesn't belong. It's for them. And then he's talking to the Pharisees, those who were in church, that knew all the books, that knew all the rules, who had everything figured out. And by activity, it looked like they belonged, but on their hearts, they were as dead as the prodigal son. And he says, for both of you, you can belong because of my son Jesus. And so that's the story for us today. Is that for you, no matter where you are, you can belong because of Jesus. Whether it's you've been in the pig pen or whether it's you've been in church, but you have to understand that there's this real danger in life to growing up in church and to growing up knowing all these things, that we can confuse activity for intimacy, that we can confuse religion for relationship. And here's a couple checkpoints for yourself. I don't know your heart, you know your heart, and the Lord knows your heart, but ask yourself, like, do you really pray? Like a believer, like some of the things that we talk about in church is like these are like simple, like intro level things, like prayer for a believer. Like that's our communication with the Father. Like do you really read the Word? Like do you desire to partake in the reading of Scripture? Do you desire for community in church? Like these things are things that are part of the Christian's life, and sometimes we just accept the bare minimum. We have a statement here. We say it's okay to not be okay. Like that, we 100% believe that, man. You guys come in with all your brokenness. Like, invite your friends with all their brokenness. If you've got a friend that's at the bar on Saturday night and they call you and they're just plumb drunk, invite them to church, and they come in stinking like liquor, we're going to love them just like we would if they didn't. Like, come. Like, you can come in your brokenness. But then we say it's not okay to stay there. Like the message of the gospel is he saves us from the pig pen. He saves us from religion, and he brings us into relationship, which is this daily communion with him. And so he says in Matthew 7, I'll invite the praise team up. He says this, many will say to me on this day, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons and perform many miracles? He says, then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not? Lord, Lord, did we not show up to church? Lord, Lord, did we not give money? Lord, Lord, did we not serve on the rotation in the kids? Lord, Lord, did I not greet? Lord, Lord, did I not do this, this, and this? And he says, I'll look at him plainly and I'll say, I don't know you. Imagine if you went with me to the White House and I told you, man, I'm going to go up like I know Donald Trump. I'm going to jump the fence. I'm going to run up. I'm going to say hi to him. You can imagine how that's going to go, like really well. Like probably someone who was actually a D1 football player would just careem me as I was running full speed across that. But imagine I'm running across the field like, no, I know Donald. Stop pointing your weapons at me. I know Donald. They would not let me get anywhere near to him. But imagine for a second if Donald walked out. Hey, that's my buddy Travis. Let him in. Well, all of a sudden I'd be welcomed. Because the truth is this, it does not matter if I know Donald, but it matters if he knows me. The same is true religiously. It doesn't matter all the things you can quote that you know about the Father unless the Father knows you. And I think today he's inviting us into a relationship. He's saying no matter where you are, you can belong because of my son Jesus. And so I'm going to pray, and we'll have a moment of reflection, a moment of invitation. I'll tell you this, if you want to talk about salvation, I want to talk to you. And maybe you're just here and you need to pray. Like this is open to come and pray. I told first service, you got lost people in your life that you know. If you're not praying for them, let me tell you, no one else is. Like, who cares more about your lost family than you? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So if you've got lost cousins and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and moms and dads, if you're not pleading for them, nobody is. And so maybe you need to come down and pray for them. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we